Miss
Mhm.
Chandrika was one of my previous counselors. During the fall of COVID-19, she used to counsel me on certain aspects like anxiety and nervousness. Before having a session with her, she used to read books on ADT and coach me using the techniques provided by the book. More than using it for techniques, she used it to know more about me and how my brain was wired and how it functioned. But otherwise, like, do some people need medication? Like, what kind of medication do people with ADD need to have?
Like I said, this is, this is something that a clinician would decide. Okay. Like I said, we just can't go around labeling people as having ADD just because um, they are not able to focus on a task or they get easily distracted. It's not so it's not easy like that to just pinpoint, and I think that it actually causes a lot of harm if we just go around labeling children. Because, like I said, the brain is constantly changing and growing. So, and what you can't do today doesn't mean you can't do it tomorrow.
Yes.
Okay, so we've got to be very, very careful about these labels. And if it is a clinical diagnosis, then depending on the severity of the condition, um, medication will be prescribed.
Yes.
Okay. But just medication alone is not enough. Children do need a lot of support and a lot of encouragement. Um, and they have to be taught strategies to be able to learn how to stay focused on a task.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So it's the thing is, we also have to help such children with their anxiety, because there is this fear that they may not be able to get better.
Yes.
Okay. And also, at the same time, it's very important for the parents of the child to be very calm.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Because children, obviously, when you're young, you tend to feed off any kind of parental anxiety. So it's important for parents also to sort of um, educate themselves on how best they can help their child, how best they can stay calm.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and Yeah, because it's not just the child, right? This is concerted effort that one
Yeah.
needs to. It's like the child, the teachers, parents, right? So all everybody put together that makes this happen.
Yes. So, what are the most common symptoms of ADD or ADHD that parents should be aware of?
Like I said, if you notice over time that a child is not able to focus on a task, um, and has difficulty sitting still for even short periods of time, and sometimes like the it would be accompanied by a lot of hyperactivity, unable to sit, unable to focus, unable and getting very easily distracted by whatever is happening. So, like I said, it's there are a lot of it's a checklist basically, and like I'm not the best person to go through that checklist. So this kind of a diagnosis has to be done by a clinical psychologist. Okay, they have the tools to sort of understand this condition and also offer solutions. Okay, but like I said, it's very, very important to not be too quick in thinking that there's something wrong with the child, because, like I've already mentioned, sometimes it could be just a phase in the growth of the child, a developmental stage. So we've got to sort of see whether if that's the case, or whether this is sort of getting not improving at all, getting worse. So there are a lot of these things that one has to look out for. Okay.
Yes. And what is it like to counsel me?
Well, like I said, we were just, talking about what you were going through. And I think as we spoke, like you just said, you speak to your school counselor, and that sort of helps you feel better, and it helps you calm down, right? So just
Mm-hmm.
having a person who sort of listens and sort of can understand what you're going through. Because when you came to me, um, yes, you would get pretty anxious, and a lot of it had to do, I think, with um, you wanting to do your best, better than what you were doing at that point in time.
Mm-hmm.
And you would sort of get very, thinking about it would make you anxious, right? And I
Yes.
think, like you just said, right now, even now, when you were talking to me, you were saying you thinking about getting, those top grades, and that again makes you anxious. So I think
Yes.
one of the, and I think what you and I did together was again the same thing that you're doing now, is to see, make goals realistic, okay, and and I think for you that made a lot of sense. Okay. Did you remember when I took you up the stairs and I told you to jump to the fifth step from the bottom
Yes.
step, and you couldn't
Yes.
do it?
Yes.
And I kept telling you, okay, jump from the bottom step to the fifth step in one go. You couldn't do it.
Yes.
So remember,
I
I
remember
said
that.
that yeah. And I said that that's exactly what you're trying to do with your scores. You are
Yeah.
here and you want to jump there, and it's not possible. But does it mean that you can never go to the fifth step?
No.
And you did go up, right? And how did you do it? Do you remember
You
how
have to
you
climb.
went up to the?
You
Did
have to
you
climb one.
jump? You
No,
climbed
climb.
one step at a time. Exactly. So that's exactly what we used. We said, how do we go one step at a time? And I
Yep. So
think
like
you were very, very willing to do all of the work.
yes.
So what I found that is you were very keen on helping yourself. So
Yes.
the more willing a child is,
Mm.
the faster, they get to see results for themselves, right? So that's what I found in you, Vedika.
What were some challenges that you faced while counseling me?
Challenges.
Mm-hmm.
Mm, I didn't really face any kind of challenge because, like I said, I found you to be very willing. I found that you did not miss any of the sessions. Um, and even though you knew that some sessions could be hard, um, and I would make you focus, and I would make you sit and do some exercises, even though you didn't want to. You remember?
Yeah, I do remember some stuff that I didn't want.
Yes, and then you didn't want to, but then you always did it. Even though you'd protest, you'd still do it. Like, for example, the breathing exercises, and how I'd make you sit still for 5 minutes. Remember all that?
I remember all of that.
Yeah. So yeah, and it wasn't challenging. It was because we were working together, and like I said, the good part was that however hard you found it, or you did the work.
Yes.
So yes, so that's what, and I really looked forward to seeing you every week.
Yes. Oh, we should make some time, honestly. And
Yeah.